What's up, pedalheads? It's your main man, Eddie Monster here, and it is that time of the year. That's right. Here on this edition of Rock and Metal News Bite Size Edition, we are talking about the dreaded Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not that anybody should really give a shit about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to begin with, because it's corrupt. It's just completely wrong. Now, I will get to why I think those things, because there are artists that were just nominated that I don't understand what they're doing not in the Hall of Fame. It's kind of strange to me. You know what I mean? So let's get into the list anyways, all right? So the Rock Hall recently released their list of all the nominees. Of course, there are some familiar faces like Iron Maiden, and there are other newbies like, I believe, like Oasis and the Wu-Tang Clan. But anyways, let's show it to you. Right there you go. The Black Crowes, Jeff Buckley, Mariah Carey, Phil Collins, Melissa Etheridge, Miss Lauryn Hill, Billy Idol, INXS, Iron Maiden, Joy Division / New Order, New Edition, Oasis, Pink, Sade, I believe is how you say her name, if I'm doing that correctly. And then we got Shakira, Luther Vandross, and the Wu-Tang Clan. So there you go. Those are the list of nominees. Now, I know a lot of you are going to argue with me to death on why I chose who I chose. I'm just going to get this right off the bat, okay? And there are a couple of artists on here that I feel like it shouldn't even be a question as to why they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I know everybody says a lot of the factors, I believe, are like album sales, you know, their highest selling record and whatnot. But there are artists on here that didn't sell hundreds of millions or 40 million over their career. That'll be evident in a second, okay, when I get into it. But here's who I chose. Jeff Buckley, Mariah Carey, Phil Collins, Billy Idol, INXS, Iron Maiden, and Joy Division / New Order. Now, I know a lot of you can argue, but the two artists that I feel shouldn't even be a question because they are some of the most influential in their field is, number one, Jeff Buckley, who is probably one of the most influential guitar players to a lot of your favorite guitar players. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of guitar players have always mentioned Jeff Buckley, and then he even did a song with Ozzy Osbourne on Ozzy's last record. Did you guys forget that? But anyways, he's an influential guy. Now, when I said that, you know, people are going to argue album sales, I mean, he's only sold 5 million records worldwide over his career, but he is an influential person. So sometimes those that are influential don't necessarily make the capital that all the people they influenced did. And Billy Corgan actually inspired me on another one on this list, but I'll get to that in a minute, because the second artist that shouldn't even be even a question, he's a no-brainer. Your favorite drummers would call upon this person to help them figure out what they should use and not use, or what patterns they need to hit the right beat. I'm talking about Phil Collins. That's right, In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins. I get it. It's one of the most overplayed songs in the world. It's been covered a ton of times. But the dude has sold records. He has sold records, making that music in the studio. You know what I mean? That's a corny. I know, I get it. But anyways, so Phil Collins has sold 150 million records worldwide, which as of right now, when I'm looking at this list of all the artists on this list, he's in second place. The only artist that has sold more records than Phil Collins is on that list, and I know it's going to be a question mark for a lot of you out there, because you're like, you're a metalhead. Why would you choose this person? Well, Mariah Carey did make a grunge record. Okay? Just was never released, I think. Or it was released. I don't know. She's not named in it or anything. But Mariah Carey has sold 220 million records. And if we're going based off of that, she's a no-brainer on this list as well. Now, again, it raises the question of some of the other choices that I have on this list. Obviously, Billy Idol he was one of the biggest superstars in the 80s. He has sold 40 million records worldwide in his career. You've got, let me see, In Excess. In Excess. Okay. One of the biggest bands. Unfortunately, as things would have it, to their original singer, Michael Hutchinson. Hutchins. Is it Hutchins or Hutchins? It's Hutchins. Yeah. I'm not surprised they're not in the Hall of Fame. But they have sold 50 million records worldwide, so that says something. So that's another reason why I have on there. Iron Maiden. What the fuck? This is, to me, now, I have been insulted so many times by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I get it. Judas Priest is technically in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, technically. But they didn't get inducted like the Nine Inch Nails or The Cure or this and that, which I have no objections to any of those. I'm not saying anything about them. I'm just saying their names were the main names on the list, right? Those were the 5 to 7 chosen for that year. And Judas Priest had to get an award to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, which I have stated on plenty of occasions, it's a fucking participation award. Is basically what it is, and that's what they're giving to metal bands, is participation awards. And unfortunately, I think they should get in just on their merit alone. I mean, they've sold 130 million records worldwide. 130 million. Do you know what 130 million is? That is better than the 25 million that Melissa Etheridge sold. That is better than the 20 million records that Lauryn Hill has sold. It's better than the 100 million records that Oasis has, or the 20 million that New Edition has done, or the 40 million that Luther Vandross and the Wu-Tang Clan have both done. But for some reason, Iron Maiden just can't get in, right? And if they do, it's going to be off some bullshit participation award, like I've said before. I'm very passionate on that, because Iron Maiden is one of the most influential metal bands. They've influenced a lot of metal bands, just like Judas Priest did. Iron Maiden did as well. And I get it. We can sit here and argue all day about it, but I know Iron Maiden, for one, does not give two shits whether they make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because, like somebody else had once said, the fans don't really get to decide who gets in. Yeah, they had that, let the fans choose. But when the fans chose certain bands, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame got fucking scared and decided not to induct certain bands. You remember those years. We saw a lot of times Judas Priest came on top of that list, and for years Judas Priest kept getting rejected. Well, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, again, Iron Maiden deserves to be in there. Now, Joy Division and New Order, right? I'll get to that. Billy Corgan made a great point. I was watching an interview with him, and he said they laid down the fabric. Joy Division alone, if you just look at Joy Division alone, an unfortunate ending to their singer, but their music that they did make influenced a whole generation of not just alternative artists, but just a lot of artists out there that are in that rock, the alt rock, the indie, whatever field. They influenced a shit ton of artists, and they should be in there. And you've attached them to New Order, I get it. New Order had a lot of big hits. I remember seeing that Blue Monday sold 10 million copies alone, which is more than the band sold albums. The band, album-wise, they only sold 3.79 million. They had a single that sold 10 million. Go figure, right? But, hey, what the fuck? Who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm just somebody that loves bringing you the news, loves giving my opinion on metal. Again, these are the acts that I chose. I just feel with a lot of the other acts, like, yeah, Oasis could get in, and I wouldn't have a problem with Oasis. I wouldn't have a problem with the Black Crowes. I would not have a problem with Miss Lauryn Hill. I would not have a problem with the Wu-Tang Clan. or Luther, or but you guys got to wait your turn, and that's how I look at it, right? I would rather induct in order of when artists came out. Like I get it. You were hot in the 90s with the Fugees and then your Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That was a huge fucking record and you hate everybody. I get it, right? But Phil Collins was writing hits when you weren't even a thought. Or maybe you were a thought. I don't know how old you are. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Like I said, these artists that I put on here, right? Whatever. Still figuring out the camera work here. But these artists that I put there, those are the artists that I feel should get in. So with that being said, fuck the Rock Hall. We don't care. We'll see who gets in though. That'll be another news story for another day. I know it's a circle of madness. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. As always, please subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate everybody that tunes in. We love you all. I love you all. I appreciate all of you. So remember that. Stay metal. And I'll see you next time.